On today's show, Tesla turns a profit for the first time in 2 years, General Motors' autonomous vehicle development is a lot slower than it thought it would be, and why Volkswagen has some really screwy logic when it comes to getting more electric cars on the road. These stories and more coming next. This is Ecotricity's ecoTEC roundup show from New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. We're 100% Kiwi and 50% community owned. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Hi there folks, happy Sunday. I hope you've had a great weekend thus far, and I hope that next week is just as awesome. We've got a lot to cover today, but we have just one place that we can start. Tesla. On Wednesday, it revealed its best ever quarterly earnings figures, showcasing record production, deliveries, revenue, and for the first time in 2 years, a profit. Unlike last time, however, Tesla's Q3 2018 GAAP profit, $311.5 million or $1.75 per share, has dramatically helped Tesla's share price and seems to suggest the company is heading towards long-term profitability. Wall Street's reactions have remained mixed, with most analysts being positive towards Tesla short-term, but still worrying about all of the debt Tesla has to pay off and its competition in the long term. Rapid charging an electric car today requires them to be plugged into a specialist high-power quick charging unit, but that may change in the future, says a team of researchers from the US Department of Energy's Oak Ridge National Laboratory. They've just successfully built and tested a 120 kilowatt wireless charging system that achieves a 97% efficiency, something that's comparable to most plug-in quick charging stations. The charging station's secrets? A silicon carbide power electronics system that can transfer power across a large air gap. Less than a week after it announced the Tesla Model 3 mid-range, Tesla has upped its sticker price by $1,000 or equivalent. The mid-range, which will now retail from $46,000 before incentives, will come with an estimated range of 260 miles per charge. Tesla says it will honour orders in progress at the previous price, but hasn't clarified why that price increase occurred. Earlier this week, during the quarterly earnings call, however, Tesla CEO Elon Musk confirmed that the $35,000 standard range Model 3 is currently impossible to produce with a positive gross margin, adding that he hopes that will change in about 6 months' time. The Nissan Leaf has received approval from the German government to be used in vehicle-to-grid energy storage systems, allowing energy from the car's battery pack to be fed back to the electricity grid in peak demand periods through special two-way DC quick charging stations. Nissan's vehicle-to-grid technology has existed in Japan for many years, but the Leaf is the first car certified for use in Germany with this technology. At the moment, however, Nissan will be focusing on corporate fleets with more than 60 cars in them, with V2G tech offered in the country for fleets and eventually individuals from next year. Following its ongoing financial fight with its main investor Evergrande, Faraday Future has quietly cut its hourly employee salaries by 20% and has laid others off. Employees were told of the hourly wage cut on Sunday night, and it will come into effect next week. It's not clear how many people were laid off, but it really is starting to look very dim indeed for the company that seems to be using up its final lifeline. Consumer Reports has issued its latest annual auto survey, which collates ownership experience data from its many readers across the US. Unlike previous years, when Tesla Model S reliability was enough to earn it a recommended status by the organization, an increase in suspension and door handle issues has now put Model S at below average reliability. Meanwhile, Model X remains much worse than average thanks to issues with its falcon wing doors and center consoles. Model 3, while reasonably new, is now officially the most reliable Tesla you can buy. Volkswagen will produce electric cars that are as good as Tesla but cost half as much in just 2 years' time. That's according to Volkswagen Boss Herbert Diess, who made the throwaway statement during his appearance on an episode of German TV channels ZDF's political discussion show Maybrat Illner. It's worth noting, however, that the comment wasn't the prime reason for his appearance. He was there ostensibly to discuss diesel engines and said that the whole discussion on diesel engines and Dieselgate was too emotional. A prototype of Tesla's next electric car, the Model Y, has received sign-off from Elon Musk to enter into production. Musk made the disclosure in Tesla's Q3 earnings call, stating that full production won't happen until 2020. There are very little details about Model Y right now, but we do know from a separate filing made this week in China that Tesla intends to build Model Y alongside Model 3 at its Shanghai facility. As I have more info on this, I'll share. General Motors' independent arm Cruise may have been working hard to bring autonomous Chevrolet Bolt EVs to the streets of San Francisco by this time next year, but now it turns out that developing the technology is proving a lot harder than it initially thought. Sources close to GM say that nothing is on schedule, and Reuters reports that some of the Cruise prototypes are still having image processing problems, identifying phantom bikes, failing to always spot pedestrians, and identifying a row of parked motorcycles as being in motion, causing the cars to abruptly stop. Just as Tesla and Waymo have experienced, teaching cars to drive is fine in theory, but a whole lot harder in the real world. Swedish company Uniti has announced its intent to begin production of the Uniti One electric car at a pilot plant at Silverstone Park, England from 2020 onwards. Uniti says the plant will become a template that it will use to produce similar facilities around the world, allowing it to produce its low-cost, zero-emission runabout locally to where those vehicles will be sold. This not only supports the local economy in each market, but keeps carbon footprint of manufacturing super low. Zero Motorcycles has updated its range of all-electric motorbikes for 2019 with some new colour schemes, longer-range battery packs and more power across the board. The Zero FX and FXS start from $8,500 or equivalent, which makes them more affordable than in previous years, while the Dual Sport DS and DSR variants get a touring windscreen and handguards as standard. They used to be add-on extras. Finally, Zero has said its charge tank accessory, which adds level 2 charging capabilities, can now be retrofitted to any Zero S or DS variant made from 2015 onwards. And finally, earlier in this show, I told you how Volkswagen was promising that it would beat Tesla in price, but match it in performance in electric cars in the not-too-distant future. How's it going to fund all this development, especially given those Dieselgate fines? Well, turns out Volkswagen has a cunning plan. Make and sell more SUVs because they're growing in demand around the world, so that they can then plough that money into plug-in and autonomous vehicle development. Anyone else notice the absurdity of that model? And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, tell your friends about the show, and as always, if you've got some good feedback, well, you know where to send it. In the meantime, I do hope that the rest of your weekend goes well and that you have a thoroughly awesome week next week. I'll see you at the end of it. You can find out when we upload new episodes by just hitting that bell below. And while you're at it, don't forget to switch to New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. Do your bit and help keep emissions as low as possible by getting your electrons free of those nasty greenhouse gases. Thanks for joining me. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite. See you next time.